Joining me right now is a very special guest, Jean Rosen. Jean took in many of the children during the Sandy Hook shooting. He is a Newtown resident. Jean, thank you for being with us.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Sir, what happened? How did you happen to speak to these little children?
I was going to breakfast at a local diner, and I was ready to get into my car, and I looked down toward the end of my lawn, and I saw 6 children. I thought that was so peculiar because they were sitting in kind of a semicircle, and they looked okay. And then I saw a man talking very loudly and harshly to them, saying, "It's going to be okay, it's going to be okay." And I thought he was talking in a very loud manner, and I thought maybe it's part of a skit or a play, and the kids were just pretending. And as I approached them, I began to see something really different. They were crying, and they looked terrified, and they looked out of breath. They looked totally tired. And the school bus driver who identified herself said, "Oh, there's been an incident at the school." And so I asked them into the house. I brought them into my house, and I sat them down, and I went upstairs to my office where my grandchildren's toys are, all the stuffed animals, and I grabbed as many as I could, and I brought them down, and they were very quiet and were not saying a lot, and I offered them juice, and they seemed to calm down a lot, or rather a little. Time went by, and after a few minutes we went to a different room, and then they seemed grounded enough and safe enough to begin to talk. And I was astounded at what they said. They said, "I can't go back to the school. I can't go back to the school. I don't have a teacher. I don't have a teacher." And then the other boy said, "Mrs. Soto, my teacher's been shot." I could not fathom this. I could not imagine what they were talking about. I did not correct them or ask them any questions. I let them keep talking, and they kept talking. They were talking about their teacher, and they named her as Mrs. Soto. And then the 2 boys said, "He had a big gun and a small gun. He had a big gun and a small gun." They were talking in this very staccato, very pressured way, and they were weeping. They were crying so much, and they were saying, "We can't go back to the school. We can't go back to the school. We don't have a teacher. Our teacher is dead."
So they knew then, Jean, exactly what had happened. They all saw what happened.
I think they witnessed the execution of this beautiful 27-year-old woman. They obviously loved her. They kept talking about her until I saw the fatality, the casualty list. I did not want to believe it. I said to my wife, "They haven't released the list yet. I hope that lady's not on the list." And she was on the list.
I'm wondering what effect this is going to have on, for instance, the children that you counseled, that you took into your home.
Nancy, I want to be with these children. I want to read to them. I want to show them there's light away from the darkness. I want to be their grandpa, their uncle, Jean, whoever. I want to spend time with them as much as they will allow and their parents will allow. I want them to come to my home. I just want to love them because they were very brave and very sweet. And their innocence has been torn away. I I know it'll take time. I want to be related to them for the rest of my life. That's my goal. That's my purpose, and that's my prayer.